Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chris, for a beautiful sunrise and explaining the weather on that side. I will get to the weather on this side in a little bit, but for now, I know this is an update everybody desperately wants this morning. We have found Dark Main. And before I show you my face, we're just going to see him and see if he moves, because this is the first time myself and Paul have seen him get up this morning. So I just want to watch him for a little bit, and then I'll quickly show you my face just now. He has moved since yesterday, not that far. He's on Vuyatela access. But he is alone under a guari tree, and we can't see any other tracks of the pride. We tracked him to here as he had moved on the road and then off the road on the game path. Okay, looks like he's pausing for a brief minute. All right, there we go. Thanks, Paul. Okay, so Paul's clearly behind the camera. It is a lovely, cool day here. My name is Tess. I'm going to be taking you out on safari on Rusty this morning. Rooster is taking a little bit of a break along with Cedric and Panda. So we are out here. We're going to be sticking with Dark Main for as long as we can, and Paul will show you his thumb. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go back to Dark Main and just see where he decides to go. If he moves, we will move as well. For now, he is standing, and it looks almost as though he's thinking before he moves, because it's going to be painful when he is moving. So he's got to think about where he's going before he goes. He doesn't want to waste any of that precious energy. And if you listen carefully, you might be able to hear his breathing. Sounds almost like a very low growl. Francis, that's a really difficult question to answer, purely because we know how resilient these cats are. We know how much they have been through, and Dark Main in particular. This is not his first buffalo rodeo. He's had some very serious injuries before. He is older now than the previous set of injuries, but to me, the paw might have recovered. I think I am worried about the chest injury and the internal injuries, because I'm sure you've seen the photos. He was properly tossed by those buffaloes. He took a beating. And unfortunately, I think he has got some internal injuries. You can see he's already walking a bit better on that paw. But look how heavily he's breathing. So I am worried about the internal injuries. I'm worried about the injuries potentially to his lungs. And that, it's impossible to say whether he'll recover right now. I suppose any form of internal lung injury, the chances are probably not as good as we'd like them to be. But at the same time, we're always still hopeful, because they are such resilient animals. They really, really are. We're just giving him a minute to see if he wants to move before we move. We don't want to pressure him into moving. He needs to conserve that energy. So I know, with Cedric last night and yesterday afternoon, it really wasn't... Oh, he is urinating. That's a good sign. It's very, very dark urine. Very dark. But he is urinating. But I know from yesterday, the state that he was in, we were really worried that he might not make it through the night. And here he is, the resilient man himself, always surprising everybody with his ability to survive anything that's thrown at him. Okay, now we're going to move. I can see he's also got some grass stuck underneath his tail, and I'm pretty sure it's stuck on that wound that the buffaloes inflicted. Good boy. So you can see he is in pain. You can see by his stance that he is in pain. You can see by his labored breathing. But look how much better he's walking on that paw already. When I saw him yesterday, that paw was twice the size, the ankle, and he was not putting weight on it yesterday morning. After the sunrise safari, when we came out with Escape to Nature, he was not putting any weight on that paw. So that's looking better. He has still got an open wound underneath his tail. It looks like a buffalo's horn may have pierced there. But I think those open wounds are not going to be a massive concern unless that wound up underneath his tail managed to damage any of his organs like colon or anything like that. Right there, have a look at his rib cage and listen to his breathing. Sally H, yes, other lions would help lick and clean his wounds because they are such social animals. They rely on that because he in this state might not be able to turn himself around to comfortably be able to, to comfortably be able to lick his wounds, especially towards the back end. So he would rely on other lions, but whether or not they'll come back, I don't know. But have a look at his chest. So there are 3 distinct spots there that I can see are bubbling and going concave again. So bubbling and collapsing. So that, I mean, you can see it's heavy breathing. He is tired. He's probably had a long night. That is the injury I'm worried about, his ribs. I wouldn't be surprised if he got hit square in the side by a buffalo's horns. And if that managed to potentially break some ribs. Now he is lucky. Today is a nice cool day. There are some clouds building, but it is not hot. It might be hot later, but for now it's been a cool evening. And it's been a cool morning, and that is a massive advantage for him. It helps him save energy, and he is more comfortable in this kind of weather. He is going to struggle more when it gets hotter, especially with the breathing side. But just have a listen.